Good morning. I'm Mike Romai, and Beaver County Radio is at the picturesque Seven Oaks Country Club this morning for the Beaver County Chamber of Commerce Congressional Breakfast. It's held here every year, and today Congressman Chris Deluzio is going to be the main speaker. There are a lot of dignitaries from Beaver County here today. A lot of elected officials are here today. A lot of business leaders. Something you would expect from the Chamber of Commerce because issues going on in Washington as well as Harrisburg have an impact on what happens in Beaver County. The kind of funding that comes to Beaver County, the kind of programs that are funded through Washington. And as you know, there's been quite a bit of turmoil going on as to what programs are going to remain, what programs are going to get cut, what offices are going to remain, what offices are going to be cut. So that's what we're going to talk about when we speak with some of these people today. I saw Commissioner Tony Amadeo. I see Commissioner Jack Manning here this morning. District Attorney Nate Bible is here. And people from all different human service organizations are here as well. So stay tuned. We're going to be here, and we're going to carry this live as Congressman Chris Deluzio speaks. And you're hearing it on Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP and AM 1460 WMBA. I'm Mike Romai, and we'll continue.
Make Easter more delicious than ever with chocolates from Rosalind Candy Castle in New Brighton. The entire Rosalind Candy Castle family invites you to stop in for the area's best selection of Easter basket fillers and novelties made from the highest quality pure milk chocolate. Try their homemade hand-decorated Easter eggs, such as the mouth-watering peanut butter melt-away eggs. All 15 varieties of Easter eggs are made fresh in Rosalind's Candy Kitchen. Don't forget, Rosalind Candy will have their delicious chocolate-covered strawberries the 3 days before Easter. Stop by Rosalind Candy Castle on the corner of 13th Street and 5th Avenue in New Brighton, or shop online and order your Easter favorites right from your desk at rosalindcandy.com. Rosalind Candy Castle, the sweetest place in Beaver County.
Our Lady of the Valley Parish is inviting you to one of the best Lenten fish fries in the Valley at the St. Cecilia Hall on California Avenue in Rochester. The fish fries get underway on Friday, March the 7th, and will be every Friday throughout the Lenten season from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. There'll be fish sandwiches, fried or baked, for just $12. Fried or baked fish dinners, $15. Shrimp dinners are $15. Fish or shrimp salads are $14. And the Chesapeake Bay dinner is $17. It includes fish, shrimp, and crab cakes. The dinners also include coleslaw and a choice of French fries, mac and cheese, or yummy pierogies. Yummy pies for dessert, but that's extra. You can eat in, take out. Credit cards are also accepted. Call 724-775-3775 or 724-709-7426.
What does it take to take an adventure? Endurance, for when the trail's crumbling under your tires and the desert's pushed you to your limit. And a visit to your Honda dealer's service center so you can do it again and again. Our Honda trained technicians know what's best for your vehicle. When you're due for maintenance, visit your Honda dealer's service center. We take care so you can take an adventure.
Drive into Moon Honda for your express lube needs or schedule online at moonhonda.com.
Before and after school care will now be provided at the Beaver County YMCA for students enrolled in the New Brighton and Rochester school districts. Children in this program have the chance to do homework, make friends, and have fun. We're also excited to introduce Preschool Light, designed to help children learn through socialization, art, language development, and much more. For more information, please visit our website, www.beavercountymca.org.
At the very beautiful Seven Oaks Country Club this morning for the Congressional Breakfast hosted by the Beaver County Chamber of Commerce on Beaver County Radio. And it's Holy Week, and someone who is feeling blessed today and every day is Beaver County Commissioner Tony Amadeo. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Michael.
It's wonderful to see you again.
It's good to be seen and not viewed.
But isn't this a wonderful place? I mean, as I was pulling up the drive to come here today, and the sun was just coming up, and the frost on the grass and everything, Wow, what a beautiful course this is.
It's beautiful. If you go back to where the pool is, it's like heaven.
Is that right?
Oh, my God.
I'll just check it out back there. So how's everything going at the county?
The county's doing very, very well. I attribute most of it to the team of commissioners who work very, very well together. I mean, we don't always agree, but we agree to disagree, and we move on, and we get the job that needs to be done at the county done.
You disagree, but we never see that publicly.
No, you don't. No.
I can remember past boards of commissioners where there was a lot of fighting going on right at the table.
Well, not necessarily with me, but yes, a lot of fighting, a lot of disagreements.
Yeah.
I've always, as a teacher, I realized the government's lasted 250 years, almost 250 years, because of compromise. And you got to be able to work together and work out your agreements. And growing up in West Aliquippa as a kid, you learn to compromise quickly.
I just did my show yesterday, and I was talking about the sanitarium, the tuberculosis sanitarium that used to be on Old Broadhead Road.
Right where Penn State is.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they used one of the buildings for the campus for a while until they tore it down.
There's a lot of history in Beaver County. You were a history teacher, weren't you?
Yes, history and government.
Yeah, okay. And also, the reason I brought that up was because in Potter Township, the poorhouse was down there where the cracker plant is now.
You know what? It was a nice building that they finally tore down. Well, they tore it down whenever they built the geriatric center. But it was a building where poor people stayed, and they farmed to survive, and the county semi-supported it.
That was before the days of Social Security, when
Yes,
old people
when it
weren't
started,
able to have
right.
any kind of income at
Right.
that time. And so you said compromise and how people get along. What's going to happen with what we're hearing in Washington? Because explain to our listening audience the monies that came from Washington after COVID that you were able to help bring back businesses and help some of these nonprofit organizations?
Yeah, the American Recovery Money.
Yes.
Beaver County got $92.5 million, and Beaver County was one of the counties that actually gave the money out. We gave it out to the businesses. We gave it out to the nonprofits. We helped people pay their rents. We followed the confines of that law, but we didn't keep it for ourselves. We kept a very, very small portion of that money for the county.
Are you troubled now from what you're hearing? Because there's a lot of nonprofits in here, a lot of human services people in here, and they have to be holding their breath, wondering what's going to happen. Is anything going to pass through Beaver County?
My God, I'm so afraid. A big portion of our budget is pass-through monies from the federal and state governments. The big chunk of that federal money we may or may not lose, and if we lose the federal money, part of that goes to the state, which passes through to the counties, we'll probably lose a chunk of that also. We're an agent of the county, which is an agent of the Commonwealth, which gets its power from the federal government.
And so we just have to wait and see how that's all going to work out, and it could affect a lot of your constituents.
Yes, a lot of our senior citizens. It was tough when the county at one time owned a geriatric center, and we had all those beds, all those people there. We couldn't afford to keep it up with the Medicare money and Medicaid money that was coming in at that time. I can't imagine if cuts come in Medicare and Medicaid, how those freestanding buildings and freestanding nursing homes are going to survive. I really don't.
Congressman Chris Deluzio is the main speaker here today. Do you work well with him? And there's a lot of criticism about what's going on in Washington. Even for the Democrats, people say you aren't doing enough, you're not standing up enough. How do you rate Chris Deluzio?
I think he's a great congressman. We've had some really good ones come through our district. Connor Lamb, Chris Deluzio, and we, even the Republican ones. We learned to work both with Republicans and Democrats because we have to. I mean, you have to be able to have a voice. I remember when Trump first got in, he invited all the commissioners to come down to Washington, and I think it was because they didn't know how the federal money passed through the counties. So we all went down, and we were there, and we listened, and we talked, and we explained how the money flows to us. That's how government works. And without that working together, government's going to be difficult.
We just had a very successful maple syrup music festival at Brady's Run Park. What's next on the horizon for the county?
Boom.
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 Okay.
And it's going to be big. It's all going to be concentrated in Bridgewater, and get there early. That's all I can tell you. Get there early.
And any programs that the commissioners are working on that we're going to see come to fruition?
There's a committee that's working on it right now. You're talking about the Boom program?
Boom or anything else, any projects in the county?
Well, we're doing a lot of maintenance in the county right now. You know, our buildings are relatively new, but they're almost 30 years old. The roofs need repaired, the fascia, the downspouts, the heating and ventilation systems. So that's what we're doing. We're busy working with that, trying to make sure that we don't ever have to raise taxes within this term, if possible.
Always important, and you never have you?
Well, it's ironic because I had to vote for a half a tax increase. When I first came in, they voted for one, and they let it hang, and it was in my lap. And then when Sandy Egley came in, we had another increase for that 1 year. So that's 2 times.
One of the great things about Tony Amadeo is he's always honest. You're not going to skirt it.
No. Because I'm not intelligent enough to remember every lie that I would have told. Yeah. So I found that a long time ago it's safer to stay straight.
Always great to see you.
Likewise.
You good health, Tony.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, that's Commissioner Tony Amadeo. We've got more people coming in this morning before Congressman Chris Deluzio takes the stage to talk about what's happening in Washington and how it pertains to Beaver County. I'm Mike Romai for Beaver County Radio, and we'll continue from Seven Oaks in the Beaver County Chamber of Commerce Congressional Breakfast.
Patriot Home Care is now hiring caregivers. Are you a caring and compassionate individual looking for a reliable income with benefits? Then call Patriot Home Care today. Benefits include health insurance, life insurance, paid vacation after 1 year, and 1.5 times hourly pay for overtime plus holiday hours. Patriot Home Care employees provide personal care, conversation and companionship, medication reminders, light housekeeping and laundry, meal preparation, and errands. Start your career in home care today and call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or apply online at patriothomecare.org.
Before and after school care will now be provided at the Beaver County YMCA for students enrolled in the New Brighton and Rochester school districts. Children in this program have the chance to do homework, make friends, and have fun. We're also excited to introduce Preschool Light, designed to help children learn through socialization, art, language development, and much more. For more information, please visit our website, www.beavercountymca.org.
The place for news, sports, and entertainment. You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP, coming to you live from the all-new Fry Transportation Studios.
95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with WBVP, WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com, invite you to tune in to Sounds of Faith. Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 for a mix of the best sacred music of all time. Sounds of Faith is brought to you by Crawford Tire and Beaver, the William Murphy Funeral Home, City Rescue Mission, MRS Physical Therapy, Circle of Friends, J&J Spratt Funeral Home, and Rome Monument and Inspirational Gifts. Sounds of Faith, uplifting, relaxing, and inspiring radio. Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with WBVP, WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com.
Beaver County Radio is at the Congressional Breakfast here at Seven Oaks Country Club. Chris Deluzio, the congressman, is going to be here momentarily to speak to this crowd of elected officials and business leaders. And right now we're talking with District Attorney Nate Bible. Good morning, Nate.
Morning, Mike. How are you?
It's good to always see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
You're looking dapper too. I've never seen you not dressed up.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I appreciate that.
What's happening in the DA's office?
You know, kind of been business as usual lately. We just had a big victory a couple weeks ago in the Rebecca Miller homicide, which we're very, very happy to get that result. And that was a big relief for our office.
That was the case that occurred in Beaver Falls just as you were taking office, I believe.
That's right.
And this was the case of Rebecca being killed down by the Eastville Bridge by Geneva College down on the railroad tracks.
Yep, that's right.
And
that's exactly right.
The outcome was you got a guilty verdict. That's
right. Ultimately, it was a guilty verdict, first-degree murder. We didn't pursue the death penalty in that case, so he'll be sentenced to life in prison. And it was just... You know, the jury deliberated for several days. They took it very seriously, and ultimately, you know, arrived at what we believe is the
People don't realize.
Right decision. No.
This is live radio.
Yeah. But no, it was good. It was good. There was a little bit of fear there for a little bit that it was going to be a hung jury, and that we would retry the case, and we felt very good about getting a conviction the second time around. But it's a lot of time and energy that goes into that, putting the family through it again. So we were very happy to get this result the first time around.
What determines what charges you file?
Well, ultimately, the facts determine it. We're all very versed with the law in my office, but the facts really dictate what we can charge. So it's not always how we feel and what we think. It's what do the facts show.
Yeah. Because one of the charges was not rape. You didn't get him for rape or anything like that.
That's right.
But was that a lesser charge? And if you brought that in, it may have hurt the case, or you might not have gotten a conviction on murder?
So we did charge him with rape, and ultimately the jury acquitted him on that. And I can only imagine the reason that they did was we weren't unable to prove that there wasn't consent, right? Because obviously Rebecca was deceased, and so we don't know. I mean, our feeling obviously is that it wasn't consensual, which is why we charged it. But I think the jury looked at, when you look at the instructions and it says that it has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that there was some threat of force or forcible compulsion, and we obviously with the deceased victim we couldn't prove that.
Do you find that not going for the death penalty in these cases, do you think Beaver County people, jurors in Beaver County really don't have the stomach for that?
I do, and I think that historically it's shown that in Beaver County, in Pennsylvania as a whole, there hasn't been someone put to death in 30-some years, I think. So you can kind of see the state, while it's still on the books, the state is really not necessarily inclined to execute people. Beaver County, I think it's been since the 70s maybe. So you can see, and there's been some, every homicide is terrible. There's been some particularly bad ones in the past that involve torture, multiple victims and things. And when those individuals, aren't given the death penalty, it's tough to justify, what would be and I don't want to say typical murder, but one that you would see more often.
At the district attorney's office, you get cases from different places, state police being one, and there is a case that's before you. We talked about it a little bit. There's a mother out in North Sewickley whose son was tragically killed in a car accident. She wants to bring charges against the driver of the car.
Yeah, that's right, and our heart goes out to that family, and we did meet with them a few days ago for the first time, and I had told them that I initially wanted to reach out, the day after the accident.